Hi, Renuka, and welcome to the Quint.
Hi Suresh, how are you?
I'm fine. Great to have you with us.
Thank you.
Okay, now I saw excerpts of Tribhanga and I thoroughly enjoyed myself, and I can't wait to watch the film now.
Thank you.
अनुजी, आपकी कहानी आपके अपने शब्दों में
क्या लिखती थी मैं? क्या अब भी कुछ जीना बाकी है? हाँ, अभी भी बहुत पीना बाकी है।
जी मम्मी जी, मैं बस निकल ही रही थी।
मैम, आपकी माँ कोमा में है तो आपको कैसे लग रहा है? तुम्हारी माँ कोमा में होती तो तुम्हें कैसे लगता?
नू मुझसे इतनी नफरत क्यों करती है?
उन्होंने कितना कुछ किया है आपको एक उम्दा जीवन देने के लिए।
I want to start by asking you, you've written the script of the film.
Yes.
Writer, how much are you influenced by the works of, your mother, Shata Gokhale? Do you remember the first time you read any of her books?
Before reading her books, I used to read her personal essays or experiences that she used to write in a evening paper called Evening News. She had a column in it. And, they were very witty. And I loved reading those columns. So I have been an avid fan of her writing and translation also. So yeah, and my first film that I directed was based on her novel Geeta Vilinkar. So yeah, it's a very close connection.
But do you get influenced by the style of her writing in any way?
I think the styles are totally different, and this is an observation that has come from her, so I believe it.
Okay.
She always thinks that my style is a bit quirky,
All right.
and she's much more somber, maybe. And that also it's because I have a wicked sense of humor, quite impish actually. Uh,
Okay. Now, tell us how the seed of the story of Tribhanga originated. We know a writer can be, inspired by many things. Sometimes it's real life, sometimes it's a painting, sometimes just a line in some other film can trigger off
right.
another story
Yeah.
idea in your mind. So, what
Yeah.
was it with your script?
Well, years ago when I was shooting for Surabhi, I had met an acquaintance who had recently got married, and she happened to mention quite casually to me that, I'm very glad that I'm married now. I can, kind of be away from my mother, who I hate. And when she said that, I was quite perturbed by it because, I share such a warm and amazing relationship with my mother. And I think that I owe her everything. I mean, whatever I am today, I would, put down to what my mother has given me. So it's a very visceral relationship which I have with my mother. And to see that somebody carries such a lot of grudge against her mother, and so that got me thinking, it was there somewhere in the back of my mind. And when I was looking for a subject, because I wanted to kind of give something for the Sundance Mumbai Mantra workshop. I, because I wanted to know what script writing was. I wanted to be mentored because I really miss being part of this whole film school thing, whether as an actor, whether as a director, writer, whatever. So I had thought of these characters. Of course, I think Tribhanga is semi-autobiographical in many ways because a lot of experiences that I have gone through as a child are there in a different manner. So yes, it is related. The cultural milieu is very, very related to where I come from, and there are many people who I have combined into my characters.
Right.
So yes, it's definitely related to my life. Also, what I've experienced through other people vicariously. So the characters were the ones which actually I started off with. I had started off with a psychological construct of id, ego, super ego, actually, and then kind of they've come into this shape after the mentoring and everything, and n number of drafts, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, see, you've been a television presenter, you've been a popular actor. Not many though that know that you probably were one of Shah Rukh Khan's first heroines.
Lady loves. No, actually, it was unrequited love from my side.
In circus. Now, what pushed you to take up film direction? Was there a storyteller in you that needed to come out?
I have always kind of wanted to be a director, whether in television or in film, because the first time, it was the second outing on television for me. It was a serial called Lifeline, which came on Doordarshan in 1988. and that was directed by Dr. Vijaya Mehta. And I was assisting her. I was lucky to assist her.
Right.
And for me, that has been my institution, actually, Film Institute.
Right.
And along the way, she had also asked me to, act as one of the doctors in the that serial. And that serial was not shot on Umatic, which was the format that we used to shoot on at that time. It was shot on film by A.K. Beer, who's such a magician behind the camera. So I got to learn all the processes of filmmaking through the making of this serial. And it was always from that time onwards I wanted to be a director. And at various stages in my life, even after becoming a professional actor, becoming a popular anchor, I had wanted to, stop and then go to Film Institute and, kind of really learn the ropes of direction. But that didn't happen. In fact, it was Suraj Barjatia who convinced me not to do that.
Oh.
He said that you can learn as an actor. And I took his advice, and I've been learning from all the people that I've worked with, and especially DOPs and sound recordists and everybody on the set, and kept my eyes and ears open and learned along the way.
Okay, now, if you look at it, human relations, emotions are at the core of your films, be it Rita or Tribhanga.
Yeah.
Which are the filmmakers who have influenced you over the years?
The first time I was blown away with the art of filmmaking, I hadn't seen many films because my mom wasn't too keen that I should be, watching films on a regular basis. So we had a pretty strict childhood that way. No television, not many films, and stuff like that. So I had seen very few films like, Ikka Dukka, like Sholay, Sharmili, these kind of films I'd seen. When I was in St. Xavier's College, there was an Italian week in our college. And I was maybe in my first year of BA. And all these neorealist filmmakers were exposed to us, like Bicycle Thieves. But the film that actually got me interested in filmmaking was Otto e Mezzo, which is 8.5 by Federico Fellini. And I didn't understand the film at all. But it was like nothing that I had ever seen in my life. And I thought this is extremely exciting that if a film in a language I don't know, I don't know what is happening exactly. It was not like a conventional, story-based film. And yet it was something that made me feel, So that was the first film. And I think Fellini, in that sense, whether it's La Strada or this, has really, been there in my mind. I was blown away by Tarkovsky's Stalker. These are films that, and from our film industry, of course, Indian film industry, Satyajit Ray's Pathar Panchali, Ritwik Ghattar's Meghida Ka Tara, Bimal Roy's work, Guru Dutt's work. I mean, Guru Dutt for me is like the god of filmmaking. So these are the filmmakers who have really, really influenced me. And if you talk about even Raj Kapur, for instance, I just love his film, which is a marriage of social issues as well as commercial success.
Right. Now, as an actor turned filmmaker, do you use it as an advantage while directing your actors? While you may give them a free rein to do as they please, are you also battling somewhere in your mind, this is how I would play it? Does that come in?
No, I think it's easier for the actors to be directed by me because there are certain tricks and certain things that I can tell them which can trigger a better performance. I would not want to show them exactly what I want. But this again I've learned from Surajji. Surajji's narration of Hum Aapke Hain Kaun is exemplary. If you had heard his narration of Hum Aapke Hain Kaun, you would have seen the film. So it's on the narration itself. I have been very, very, I've narrated it in a way to the actors where none of them have any doubts about what character and what I expect of them.
Okay.
So when we went on the shoot itself, they were very clear about what I expected of them. And they were also very clear that I'm very open to whatever they bring also. I don't have blinkers that, okay, this is how it should be and nothing else, It's not like that. Filmmaking is such a collaborative effort that unless you give a free rein to whether it's your technicians or whether it's your actors, you're not going to get the best out of them. Of course, there are certain places where you do put your foot down and want a certain way of doing things.
Right.
But I'm always open to the other way of doing things as well. And we can always choose on the editing table. For me,
Right.
that table is very important.
Now, from what I saw in the excerpts of Tribhanga, Kajol, who plays Anu, has this very ugly relationship with her mother, Nayan.
Yeah.
And she realizes that her own daughter has issues with her, feels let down by her as a mother.
Yeah.
And what we see around us is that many times, we have some issues with our parents and we grow up thinking, oh, I'm not going to let my child go through this.
Yes.
And be the best parent that I can be. And then
Right.
we grow up to realize that we've let them down in some other way.
Yeah.
Is that cyclical thing also with something that comes out in your film?
It is definitely, because after being a parent myself, I've realized so many things about the things that I had planned, as a teenager.
Yeah.
It's like, there is a lot of angst, even in the best and the healthiest of relationships that you share with your parents. There are certain, things that you hold on to, which you've decided that I'm not going to do this with my kids. And then your kid turns around and says something else completely different to you, and you really, and if the communication lines are open, then these things are said. But if there is regret and angst that is held on, and there is no healing from that, then this can carry on for years and years, and the parents don't understand what is going on in the kid's life, and the kids don't understand that the parents also have a different point of view. So
Right.
it becomes a very messy sort of relationship, which becomes more and more knotted as the years go by. And then it becomes a sort of nature for you to be like that in that relationship, and then you never make amends. And
Right.
that is something that is really very regretful, according to me, because I'm an optimist where relationships are concerned. So I think somewhere along the line you do feel the need for healing.
Renuka, you've been with a production house like Rajeshri, which is like a family-owned, production house. And now there's Netflix, which is a totally corporate kind of environment.
Right.
What are the good and bad that you see in this transition or this evolution in a way?
No, I think there's a very little actually difference between a Rajeshri production and a Netflix. I'll tell you why. Because Rajeshri Productions is a very disciplined production house. And they do a lot of work, pre-production, and there's nothing that is not arranged before we go onto the floor. And I think the same thing is the same way that we operate with Netflix, or any corporate sort of production house. I think in Rajshri also a lot of importance and respect is given to creators. I think the same applies to Netflix. Netflix, of course, has been supporting a lot of women's voices, which I really, really like. It's one of the places where women's voices is almost, even if there aren't any, they are kind of, exploring possibilities of collaborating with women behind and in front of the camera. So I think that and the freedom that a Netflix offers you as a creator, I think is lovely, because I think at the end of the day, something like a Rajshri production would definitely have to look at the economical outcome of their films, because
Right.
when you're spending a lot of money on your films, you want those returns. But and I'm sure Netflix, with all the subscriptions and all, would want good content out so that they get more subscribers. But I'm saying that you can at least, kind of widen the scope of your creation when it comes to a platform like Netflix. And I
Right.
think they are willing to take the risks that maybe we can't take on in a mainstream situation. So
Right.
that definitely is a huge advantage.
Okay. I want to slip in one last question. 3 generations of actors in your film, and you also have to handle them as actors, as a director. Okay, so there's Tanvi Azmi, who I remember seeing as a school kid in a film called Pyari Behna with Mithun
Yes.
Chakravarti.
Right.
Kajol, okay,
Yeah.
who's a popular actress, in her
Yeah.
own right, and a new kid on the block, Mithila Palkar. So, was there a difference in the way you handled each of these actors and the way you wanted to get what you want out of them? Your approach as a filmmaker?
luckily for me, I knew Tanvi. As I said, Tanvi was a star in the serial that I was an AD on. So
Okay.
I have known her for such a long time, and
Okay.
we've kept in touch, and I mean, I have a great relationship with her. And with Mithila also, I've known her for a long time, and she's the sweetest person to, kind of be with, and even, kind of have on the set. And she's such a lovely person, really, and a keen observer of things, very disciplined, and has a very sane shoulder on her head. So with both of them, I knew that I had this relationship from earlier. Kajol was the person that I did not know how I would gel with, but already before we came on the set itself, there was this feeling of trust that had already formed between us. And let me tell you, Kajol is not the kind of person who would, she doesn't mince her words. She is brutally honest to you, and I love her for that. So that you are not in any way, wondering where you stand vis-a-vis her. She's already given you that idea, and she luckily liked me a lot. She loved the script. She had done a lot of work on the script before she came onto the floor. She's a thorough professional. Her judgment of other people and the way she makes everybody comfortable is really, really excellent. And that helped me a lot, because I think she was the superstar in a way on the set, and that kind of behavior percolates down to the very, very bottom. And in a hierarchical situation, which we have unfortunately in our society, if the star is behaving badly, then everybody else also decides कि हम भी कर सकते हैं. But because she was just so awesome on the set, and so generous on the set, she, even when she was not required, she was always on the set, and really enjoying herself. So I think that really made a huge difference, because if the star is dismissive of the director, then many other people could also get their own personal egos in. But since she was egoless, it helped me immensely in dealing with everybody else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for talking to us, Renuka ji, and looking forward to Tribhanga. All the
Thank
very
you.
best.
Thanks a lot for having me, Suresh. Bye.